Hi, everybody. So today for book time, we are going to be reading this book. And this is actually a different type of book. This book is called nonfiction because it's based on real stuff. It's going to be based on animals, like you see on the cover here. So if a book is fiction, then that means it's not real. Those are the books where you find animals that might be talking and where pictures are drawn and stuff like this. But this is a nonfiction book, and that means it's about real things like animals. And the title of this book is called Deadliest Animals, and it's written by Melissa Stewart. Deadliest Animals by Melissa Stewart. So this page is a page with a table of contents. And this page is a page that shows you what animals are going to be talked about in the book. So it has like a list here of the animals and the page number that you can find those animals on. And this book is a long book, so we'll be reading it a couple of times. I'll be reading the first half of the book today, and another day we'll be reading the second half of the book. So when we return to this book, we can come to the table of contents and look at where we stopped at. So say which we are going to stop at the scary snakes. So then we can look down and fish is next. So then we can go to that page. So the table of contents is just a page to help you find what you want to look at or what you want to read about. So I'm wondering what is something that you notice about this page? So I see there's some teeth here. It looks like there's a lion right here and a paws. And then another lion that's running super fast. And it also looks like some of the lions that are eating. Deadly surprises. Huge teeth? Check. Razor sharp claws? Check. Fast and furious? Check. The African lion has all the features you'd expect to find in one of the world's deadliest animals. These powerful predators are skillful stalkers that usually hunt together in groups called prides and can take down prey 10 times their size. That's why people often call lions the king of the jungle. So a couple words here that I want to tell you that are about are like the word predator. So the word predator is an animal that hunts and eats other animals. So here you see the lion is a predator to other animal because here they are in this picture eating another animal, right? And I also want to tell you that stalkers means that they watch their animals, they follow their animals around before they attack it, which, like the page said, they could attack prey that are 10 times their size. So it could be like an elephant they could attack. But are lions the deadliest animals of all? Not quite. So what so the author is saying that the lions um are may not be the deadliest animals of all. So I was wondering, what other animals do you think are deadly? So I remember when we were on the Zoom meeting with the zookeeper from the zoo, how he was telling us about hippos and how they're very territorial and aggressive. So that's what pops up to my mind when I think of another deadly animal. Lions certainly score high on the deadliest list, but they don't take the number one spot. And if you think all of Earth's most dangerous creatures are big, fierce hunters, you're in for a surprise. Surprise number one, some deadly animals eat only plants. Red kangaroos spend their days quietly nibbling on grasses. But when they feel threatened, watch out. A hard kick in the chest can break a person's ribs and collapse the lungs. Surprise number two, some deadly animals are smaller than the palm of your hand. Oak processionary caterpillars are only 2 inches long, but beware of their hairy bristles. They can cause rashes, asthma attacks, and even deadly allergic reactions. So allergic is when the body, when you have an allergic reaction, it's when the body responds to something like the caterpillar with a rash, you might have trouble breathing, and in some cases, people even pass away from having an allergic reaction. Surprise number three. Some deadly animals may be closer than you think. Rattlesnakes live throughout the United States and they bite about 8,000 people each year. Even though rattlesnake venom is deadly, most people get treated quickly and survive. So, venom is a liquid that comes from a snake when they bite you. It goes from the snake into your body, and it's meant to, it's like poison. So, it could be deadly or it could be kind of like the caterpillar where you have trouble breathing and stuff. But either which way, if you get bit by a snake, it's very important to go to the hospital because it can turn deadly. Polar bears. Polar bear is the largest land predator alive today. Like a lion, a polar bear is a skilled hunter that knows exactly when and how to attack. The clever carnivore looks for a hole in the ice and waits. When a seal comes up for air, the polar bear pounces and grabs the seal with its sharp teeth. So in this picture, we see there's the polar bears. They're looking in the water, waiting for their food, for the lion, the sea lion. They're hunting it. And then in this other page, you see that the polar bear is eating what they caught, right? So, and I want to let you know that the word carnivore means that the animal eats the meat of other animals. So the polar bear eats other animals. Unlike what we said about the kangaroos on the other page, where the kangaroos only eats leaves and plants and stuff. So I wonder what you notice about this picture on this page. So I see that it looks like there's some zebras by by water, but I also see a crocodile popping out of the water. Maybe the crocodile wants to eat the zebras. Saltwater crocodiles. Saltwater crocodiles are just as fierce as polar bears and just as patient too. Lurking below the water surface, a croc lies in wait for its prey. When an unsuspecting animal passes by, the 1,000-pound beast explodes out of the water, grabs its victims, and drags it under the water to drown. Yikes. So the crocodile is kind of like the polar bear and he waits for his prey to come. And the word prey means an animal that is eaten by other animals. So the zebra is the prey of crocodiles. The saltwater crocodile is the most deadly large predator. It can easily take down a water buffalo and has even been known to kill sharks off the coast of Australia. Wow, I didn't know that. That's an interesting fact. That crocodiles can even kill sharks. Uh-oh, I see a hippo, just like I was just talking about at the beginning of the book, where we talked about the hippos with the zookeeper from the San Antonio Zoo and how they're aggressive and territorial, right? Big and brutal. Hippopotamuses are usually gentle giants. During the day, they lounge and snooze in shallow water holes. At night, they lumber onto land and munch on grasses and leaves. But if a boat gets between a hippo and the deep water, or between a mother and her calf, the animal will panic. It may tip over the boat and attack the passengers with its powerful jaws. A hippo can outrun you on land and outswim you in the water. You don't stand a chance against an angry hippo. So just like the zookeeper from the San Antonio Zoo was saying, that hippos are very aggressive. So and they're very big and strong. So if you're ever around a hippo, don't get between them and the water and a mother and their calf, because I wouldn't want to be attacked by a hippo. Elephants. Like hippos, elephants are usually calm, peaceful animals. But when an elephant feels threatened, it will attack. The huge herbivore can stab enemies with its tusk and crush them with its feet. Sometimes it grabs an attacker with its trunk and tosses the possible threat into the air. Elephants are the largest animals on land, so they can do a lot of damage. Wow. So, elephant is the largest animal on land. So, and they're very strong. So, I wouldn't mess with them. I wouldn't mess with a hippo, and I wouldn't mess with an elephant or any of the animals talked about in this book, really. And so, I also want to point out this word herbivore. So, the word herbivore means that the animal only eats plants. So, like the polar bear is a carnivore because he eats animals, he eats meat, and the elephant is a herbivore because they eat plants. Cape buffaloes. Large herds of Cape buffaloes graze hour after hour on thick grasses. It might seem like they're focused on their food, but they're also on the lookout for danger. When these huge, hulking animals feel angry or scared, they charge at enemies with their heads down. Often they charge together as a group. A stampede of Cape buffaloes can kill predators quickly with their sharp hooves and hooked horns. So I wouldn't want to be standing in their way either. So they're like the elephants and the hippos where they only eat leaves and grass and stuff, but don't get in their way because they do still attack you. So even though you're made of meat and you're not a plant or anything, they'll still attack you if you get in their way. In Africa, Cape buffaloes are known as Black Death due to their dark color and ferocious nature. So I was also looking at the Cape Buffaloes and I noticed that they look familiar to me from a movie I've seen. And they look like the ones from The Lion King, remember where the dad falls down and all these this herd of buffaloes come. So I believe these are the same animals that they depicted in that movie with the herd that was the herd stampede. So now we're going to look at some snakes. We looked at buffaloes, we looked at lions, we looked at hippos, we looked at elephants. So now let's look at snakes. Scary snakes. About 3,000 species of snakes live on Earth, and most of them make venom. Snakes use venom to kill prey and protect themselves from enemies. Most snakes are too small or too shy to attack humans, but about 300 species can kill a person who's in the wrong place at the wrong time. So the word species is over here, about 3,000 species. That means that they're a group of similar animals. So all the snakes are species. And then toxic means that it's poisonous, that it's capable of causing injury or death. And that is what venom is. Venom is toxic, it's poisonous. So if a snake bites you, it's very important for you to go to hospital because their venom is poisonous. Toxic tidbit. The Indian cobra's venom isn't as toxic as the venom of some other snakes, but it often lives close to people, and that makes it a major threat. Indian cobra's bites kills thousands of people each year in Asia. So even though they might not seem dangerous to you, their venom might not be dangerous to you or isn't as toxic to you, but if there's a high population of them in your area, then it can be. So kind of like a rattlesnake in Texas, we do have rattlesnakes, especially if you go out into like where there's mainly land and not buildings. You need to be careful because they're out there as well. Which snake is the deadliest of all? That's a hard question to answer. So here's a picture of a hooked nosed sea snake. This fish hunting reptile lives in coastal waters and has the most poisonous venom of any snake. Just one drop can kill a person. Like other snakes, it has lungs and breathes air, but it can stay underwater for 5 hours. I wonder, do you think you can stay under the water for 5 hours? That doesn't seem like something I can do. I wouldn't be able to do it at all. That's a long time. Russell's viper. This snake lives in rice paddies and grassy areas of Asia and may bite farmers. Its venom isn't quite as toxic as the hook-nosed sea snake's venom, but it has more toxins in its body. That means it delivers more venom in each bite. So it's not as toxic as a hook-nosed sea snake, but it has more venom in its bite. Black mamba. Other snakes may have stronger venom, but the black mamba moves fast and isn't afraid to attack. When an enemy gets too close, the black mamba raises its head high and hisses. If the predator doesn't back off, the snake strikes again and again. So just like I was talking about the rattlesnake gives off a warning to you. So if you ever hear any like rattle noises, that's a snake telling you to back away. So that's its warning. And the black mamba also warns the people around it too by raising its head really high and hissing. So if you see that, you hear that, make sure you like run in opposite direction because they will attack you because they find you as a threat. Just like us, when we find people as a threat, we try to sometimes we want to like push them or something like that. But you just gotta move away and walk in the opposite direction. So this is where I'm going to stop on our book today with the snakes, and we'll be returning to this book to read the second half of this book. And remember that you could go to the remember this we'll come back to the table of contents to find where we left off, and then we'll read the rest of the book to see what other animals are deadly on earth. So draw a picture of one of the animals we've talked about so far in this book, and tell us something that you thought that was interesting that you heard us read about. And don't forget to share with us on Flipgrid your drawing and what you found so interesting about that animal.